ready. We're all gonna get laid.
All right. It is Lighthouse Shock Jock number 4. And I'm sitting here wondering, is 4 an important number in any other culture? I know it's not in ours. I know 3 is 1, 7's 1, and 9 is 1. You know, I'm not even going to make a bit about that. I'm just pissed because this is these are the drawbacks of doing a podcast, right? Which is that it's episode number 4. And this also just so happens to be the 4th time that I'm sitting here trying to record this. Now, I was originally going to do a very deep topic for today's show. But you know what? I'm going to keep it light today. I think next episode I'll talk about some of the heavy life stuff that has been going on lately. And then, we'll lighten it up with a little bit of a return guest. We'll bring Mr. 4000 back next time. I was going to say next week, but honestly, there's a high likelihood that I just straight up record the next episode tomorrow. I take 3 weeks off and then I decide, all right, we're going to record 3 fucking episodes this week. All right, cool. Which means that we've got plenty of time to get to the heavy stuff next time. I want to talk about, I don't want to turn this all into a giant preview for what's coming up on the next fucking episode, considering that we've got a whole episode to do right in front of our, I was about to say goddamn, but that's blasphemous now. I can't do that. I'll talk more about that next time because I had some experiences that might have changed, and by might have I mean likely changed my views on religion a little bit. Went on a bit of a journey recently, okay? And I'll tell you more about that later, but honestly, the entire reason that, I just decided to fire up the fucking, I don't want to say stream, because it's not going to be stream. It may be a stream, too, based on what we're about to talk about. We're going to talk about the Twitch stuff in just a moment. But first, I got to do a little bit of, hey.
Housekeeping.
Are you there?
Housekeeping.
I'm here.
Come back later, please.
No.
Housekeeping.
Not now.
Housekeeping.
Go away.
That's what I'm saying. So, got to do a little bit of that. Next time, we'll talk about heavy stuff. We'll get a return visit from Mr. 4000. But this show, on episode number 4 here, we'll talk about the Twitch stuff. Oh, I do want to recap. We'll do another segment on this in a little bit coming up in... Look, just fast forward to the fucking timestamp where you want to talk or where you want to hear about what the TV shit. I forget that this is a fucking podcast still. We're 4 episodes in and I already forgot it's a... I was about to say goddamn again. No, it's blasphemy. Going right to hell if I say goddamn one more time. Going right there. But, oh yeah, housekeeping. So coming up on the show today, I'll talk about the Twitch stuff because there's some breaking news that just came out today. Again, I say in the form of a podcast. That's probably not going to go up for another few hours, so it might just be old fucking news by that time. Talk about the news about Twitch. And then I want to talk about also in the next segment the Succession finale because I said I would. Right? That's a good enough reason. I think that's a good enough reason, right? To, keep my word. I want to do it anyway, though, because the Succession finale was fucking amazing, man. I loved it. And I do got some takes about it, right? And I don't want to say it's going to be spicy because, again, I haven't read the takes yet, and I'm not going to read anybody else's takes until I get my own out. I did do some research, by the way, and it turns out that the family is based on the Murdoch family and not the fucking Roger Ailes family, which I guess makes more sense, right? It makes more sense. But then again, I always thought that like Roger Ailes was above Rupert Murdoch in the fucking Fox News corporate media hierarchy. I always thought that was the case. I didn't think anybody would be above Logan Roy in Succession, but it turns out they just didn't make a Roger Ailes character. Between that and I don't know. I feel like we're only going to have time for 2 segments today because I'm trying to, and this is part of the housekeeping, by the way, but I'm about to unfortunately pay Elon the $8 for Twitter Blue so that I can be able to upload these videos to YouTube. And the problem with that is that I have to keep them under 2 hours. I would actually like to keep them between an hour and an hour and a half, but, you know, the last few just so happen to go long, and you know what? This one might just so happen to go long, too. Get it? Go long. All right. We got to jump into the Twitch stuff, because while it may be breaking news right now, at this very moment, at 5:40 p.m. on June 6th, 2023. Oh, by the way, while we're still doing housekeeping, I know we'll get to it eventually, people. Just skip to the fucking part in the timestamp where the interesting stuff happens, okay? Fuck. Also, yeah, I picked an intro that was 50 seconds long. Come at me, Zoomers. You already probably switched off the video by now. I don't care. You're all terrible anyway. And the ones that stuck around, you're the ones that are going to be super geniuses and carry your entire fucking generation. The 1 in 10 of you that's not a complete fucking drooling ass clown scrolling TikTok all day. Anyway. Why did I start recording this when I really have to take a piss, by the way? I realized that I could just press pause and edit all of this out. Oh, man. All right, you know what? Fuck it. We're doing it anyway. We're pressing forward. Maybe that'll add some fucking brevity to the news about Twitch, which, back to it, more breaking news once again that I will actually get to this time, and not just fluff my cock sitting here waiting to get to it. So God, I feel so fucking manic today. This is the high part of the bipolarism that, you know, that you so crave. This is why I don't take fucking mood stabilizers. I've lived for this shit, baby. 4 out of the 5 days being the down part makes it worth the one fucking manic day where we are ready to fucking go, fellas. I just twitched a little bit. Speaking of Twitch, they came out with a new policy today, right? Which seems like a massive slap in the face for just about any type of creator on Twitch, right? So Twitch came out with some new rules today for their in fact, let me bring it back up, right? So Twitch came out with some rules today for ads essentially on the platform, right? So a couple of new rules that they might have slipped in there, you know, just hoping that nobody would notice, except this news is so fucking big that it is impossible not to notice. So branded content on Twitch, right? So you know how if you are a watcher of Twitch, then one of the most important ways for you to make a living on Twitch, there are a couple of different revenue streams on Twitch, right? I guess I will give a little bit of a background for anybody that's not familiar on Twitch, which if you're listening to a fucking podcast on YouTube, then you're probably familiar with Twitch to some degree. So I don't even know why the fuck I'm explaining this, but you know, fucking for posterity's sake, I was about to say God damn it again, but no, that right to hell for that. We're going right to hell, and I haven't even explained that fucking part yet. That's for the next episode. All right, calm down. It's okay. So one of the main revenue sources for streamers on Twitch, right? Of course, you've got subs. You've got your fucking Twitch Prime. It's unlikely that we'll ever do a live show if we ever do live shows on Twitch again after this news. But Twitch, for some reason, decided that they had a lot more social capital than they really did. Now, for instance, sponsorships were one of those forms of revenue for Twitch. You've got streamers that, you can donate like little fucking bits on Twitch that are basically Twitch currency for fucking microtransactions, shit like that. You can buy bits and you can use those to donate to streamers. It's a really stupid system. Twitch keeps most of them, just like how Twitch, depending on your contract, keeps most of the sub money that you sub to your favorite streamer for. Guess what? Good old Twitch and fucking Jeff Bezos. It's not Jeff Bezos anymore. I don't even fucking know who it is. He gets his little greedy fucking paws on like up to half of your sub money. But hey, that's an important revenue stream on Twitch. That and, just regular donations. And also, the primary one that most people made their income off of were sponsorships, right? And a lot of the times, how they would set up these sponsors... Go back. Let's try that again. Say it with me, everybody. Sponsorships. We got there. Got there eventually. Fuck. I didn't even hurt my throat getting there. So, these sponsorships, right? They, of course, will put things like branding on people's streams. Unfortunately, I have chosen not to take any sponsors up to now as of this point because we're just straight up not big enough for me to get like real sponsors. And I'm not taking the fucking, the startup, scammy sort of crypto deal or like scammy fake watch sponsorships. I'm not doing that. I'm straight up not doing that. The few people that have chosen to listen to this show that may gain value out of this show, I'm not going to sell a fucking fake watch or even do any sort of stupid ass affiliate program for that. But anyway, what they would do is a lot of these companies would do is they would sponsor streamers, right? They would get them to, maybe have a little like flashing carousel of logos on the stream, and a lot of the times they would be a major part of the stream. Now, that's just one. That is just one of the new guidelines put out. For instance, examples of branded content. In fact, I'll even go right to the Twitch statement here. According to Twitch, branded content, right? That is that revenue stream that I was talking about. Branded content is any content, according to them, according to Twitch, produced by streamers featuring products or services based on an exchange of value, such as being paid or receiving goods or services. Sometimes these types of deals are referred to as paid product placements, endorsements, or sponsorships. Yep, that sounds a whole lot like how people make fucking money on your platform. They, of course, make sure to specifically state what is branded content and what is not. Things that are branded content, like brand logo stream overlays, branded channel banners, channel sponsorships, paid product unboxing, sponsored gameplay, endorsements. What branded content is not is wearing your favorite T-shirt that happens to feature a brand or product, like, or showing off a new piece of equipment that you bought for yourself, or talking about your favorite restaurants, stupid shit like that. Now, what Twitch has decided to do is they've added, first of all, a branded content disclosure tool. So you have to disclose all of that. I'm pretty sure YouTube already has some kind of feature like that. Now, the real thing that is making a metric fuck ton of people mad about this are these new guidelines. Now, for instance, I can put up on the screen here, and let me try to... This is for those people that are watching the podcast on YouTube. Like, I'm sorry if you're listening to the podcast on like Spotify or Apple Podcasts or iHeart or any of those other fucking platforms, then you can just look up the Twitch new guidelines if you want a text breakdown with me. But I've put it up on the screen here for anybody watching on YouTube. First of all, formats that are permitted: branded channels on channel pages, showing products in your stream background, like on your camera. I'm choosing to be anonymous, so we are not doing stuff like that. chat links, discussing, endorsing, or unboxing products or services are not fucking with that. Playing sponsored games, they're also not fucking with that. Now, what they've chosen to do is, you know how on some streams, and I say some streams, but like just about every stream, just about. What they'll do is they have their sponsorships, like they have them dead set, like fucking front and center, right on their screen somewhere, whether it be right above their camera or in a very prominent part of the general shot. And I'm not just talking about on their camera. Now, one of the things amongst the many fucking draconian measures that Twitch has decided to implement today are their stream logos. Now, before, you could make these fucking these like advertisements as big as you wanted. You could even record an entire commercial and put that entire commercial in your stream. Well, that will no longer be a thing. Now, specific like image logos are now limited to only 3% of the screen size. Look, if you're looking at this screen right now, like if you're looking at the YouTube video, which, oh, by the way, the lighthouse background is not moving. You're on drugs if you think it's moving. It's a still image. I'll run with that bit forever. I don't care. Come at me. But if you're looking at this at the YouTube screen or the YouTube stream, in fact, if you're even looking at the fucking podcast image, if you're listening to the podcast, look at the fucking podcast image right now. You see that little circle? I'm not talking about the full circle with the Lighthouse Shock Jock text right next to it. I'm talking about that little fucking circle right there on the screen. The little circle, the blue and purple circle with the lighthouse on it. The one that I've used as my profile picture for all the Lighthouse Shock Jock social medias, which you can follow on Twitter, by the way, at Lighthouse_SJ and at Lighthouse Shock Jock on YouTube. Only that little fucking, the lighthouse circle, only the blue and purple lighthouse circle, that's about 3% of your screen. Okay, and you can see it on the example picture here. If you're watching, should probably enunciate there. If you're watching on YouTube, again, another thing, know what Twitch likes to call burned-in ads. Okay, and what these burned-in ads refer to are, have you ever watched, like, say an esports tournament? By the way, this is going to kill all fucking major top 5 games esports if Twitch continues to do this. And we'll get to the ramifications of that in a moment, because that's honestly what I really want to spend a lot of time as. What I would really want to spend a lot of time on, rather. But these burned in ads, what they'll do is, you know how like maybe after a game, what they'll do is they'll run a commercial, like a Red Bull commercial. Say if you watch, like, I was listening to Thorne and Monty talk about this on Summoning Insight today, which is basically the premier League of Legends podcast, right? And they were talking about this today, and all these example ads, like for instance the Red Bull ad at the end of like an LEC game. Those little Red Bull commercials that are basically a Red Bull commercial that you would see on TV, but they're not one of the Twitch ads that pops up when you like click on a stream, or when a streamer decides to run ads, which are the state of fucking ads on the Twitch platform is a complete joke, by the way. But you will not be able to do that anymore, assuming, which this might not be the worst assumption, by the way, but I would assume that if these rules were to go through, that Twitch would individually work with a lot of these like major publishers and esports tournament organizers. Now, the problem with that is, sure, while it may not directly like kill T1 or tier 1 esports, like for example in Counter-Strike, like ESL and fucking Blast and like all the other tournament organizers, Twitch is probably going to work out a deal with them, whether it be that Blast, ESL, Riot, whoever have to pay Twitch to continue to allow ads. Again, esports is fucking bleeding money, and to have to give more money to Twitch, sure, but let me do that without having my voice crack. This could have some interesting ramifications. Like, what if broadcast exclusivity rights, those deals start happening now. Like, they never happened before because Twitch was the only viable product to really stream to. There were a very, very few select amount of esports tournament organizers or games that have decided to go to YouTube and stream on YouTube. Even though YouTube is a much better, like, the YouTube player for live streams is just so much better. You can, I would like on Twitch to be able to fucking rewind the stream. But they'll never do that because they don't have decent competition, which we'll get to Kick in just a moment because Kick may be the Twitch competition that is due to rise up and save us all, not kill us all, which is what I'm usually warning about when something rises up and attempts to do something to us all. But so you no longer can have burn-in ads anymore. You cannot show individual commercials that are not Twitch ads, which basically means that Twitch does not want their streamers making money besides the ads that other companies pay Twitch to run on their streamers. It's how could you describe this as anything but a greedy ass cash grab from Twitch? And let me tell you, Twitch does not have the social capital to be doing this right now. Whoever up there at Twitch decided, all right, today's the fucking day, we are going to slam all of these new content policy guidelines on all of our creators. Whoever decided to do that, terrible fucking decision. Terrible call. Because Twitch does not have the social capital for that. People, streamers, the community, people that watch Twitch are upset at Twitch because they selectively enforce their terms of service, which I'll get to something else that they added to the terms of service in just a moment as well. There's so much to fucking unpack. So much to unpack here. In fact, I'll turn the screen off because we've pretty much already inserted it. So not only has Twitch deleted or stopped allowing inserted those burn-in, again, quote-unquote, ads onto their streams, streamers may also not insert or display banner ads directly onto their streams because that would be more than 3% of screen space that is used up for those ads. Look, Twitch, all Twitch wants you to have is just tiny little sponsorship logo right there in the corner of your screen so that Twitch can slam you with a fucking 3-minute ad for companies that paid Twitch and not the streamer. And not the creator, which I fucking hate that term, by the way. I hate content. I hate creators. I hate everything. Should probably exercise a little bit more love. But I'm still working on that, okay? Everything else does not seem to be new. Like, Twitch, for certain. Now, they added a little quip at the bottom about the stuff that they don't allow to be promoted, but I'm pretty sure that stuff was already not allowed by Twitch. Like, they don't allow, for instance, like weapons, adult-oriented products and services, tobacco and tobacco-related products, financial products or services, medical facilities and products, political content, and cannabis-related products. And half of like alcohol. They have some restriction on alcohol, but they generally allow, they allow some of it. So that was, I'm pretty sure, already in the Twitch branding guidelines, but they just had to add it for posterity's sake. Now, this is causing a complete fucking meltdown. Everybody's freaking out. Oh my god, this could be the end of Twitch.tv as we know it. My voice hurts after that. And it actually might, because if you've ever heard of, now I fucking hate this type of content, like the reality show Twitch streamers. Don't you just love your favorite Twitch streamer? Don't you just love seeing them in a fucking hot tub with their tits out? I fucking hate Twitch. I hate all content. I hate content. I hate everything.
Rev up those fryers.
Now, just let me sit here and hate Twitch. Especially because they've given me a reason to today. Now, huge streamers are freaking the fuck out about this. One of the biggest streaming networks on Twitch, called OTK, which has 541,000 followers on Twitter, which kind of makes him a big deal. I say Twitter followers making somebody a big deal. Look, we live in the age of clout, people. I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying that's what the reality is. OTK released a statement today that actually, when I read it, in fact, I could probably put this on the screen too. I wonder if this will show up. It's there. I'll read some of it, but there was a certain prescience to this statement, and their statement kind of hit a little bit hard. It starts off, every so often, we find ourselves catching an unsolicited glimpse of our own reflection. This blunt collision with reality serves as a brutal but necessary reminder that our existence, while beautiful at times, is temporal, and that the decisions we made yesteryear will inevitably catch up to us despite our best efforts to the contrary. Today, decisions have caught up quickly. The backlash you're receiving today, while seemingly specific, is the result of what now feels like years of anti-creator policy. All right, I'm going to end quote here, my own commentary. This is what I would say the vast majority of the Twitch population feels about Twitch. Twitch continues to act in their own self-interest, which, I mean, fucking, of course they are. They're a goddamn company. Oh, I said goddamn again. All right, right, straight to hell. Fuck. Saying fuck is more okay than saying goddamn. I love saying goddamn so much, but no, right to hell. Shit. This is why I said earlier that Twitch just did not have the social capital to be doing this right now, because everybody already fucking hates them. All right, back to the statement. It's the chickens coming home to roost, or in this case, the frogs. All right, okay. The once unique and admirable vision of a creator-first platform now feels like a fading and distant dream. Reductions to creator subscription revenue, inconsistent moderation policies, and attacks on creators' abilities to pursue their own independent revenue streams have transformed Twitch into one of the least creator-friendly platforms in social media and have undermined the very ecosystem that helped Twitch become what it is. And unlike in the past, these changes come at a time when the live streaming landscape has never been more competitive. Now, they go on in the statement to continue to say that, look, we're asking you to reflect, and OTK has threatened to leave Twitch. And that would be one of the most notable people to leave Twitch. Now, there's been a history of people leaving Twitch for other platforms, mostly because other platforms have just swooped in and paid the streamer a fuck ton of money to go stream on their dead platform to like 0 viewers just to attempt to get attention. Like this happened to Ninja. This has happened to a couple of other people, right? Where they'll sacrifice their growing relevancy for like a year, for however long the fucking streaming contract is. And where Ninja used to stream to like, I don't know, 50K average viewers on Twitch, at least 40, 50K. He would go stream on, I don't fucking remember what it was, some other stupid ass platform that is dead now. Went to go stream there to like 2K viewers, and they paid him in his streaming contract a fuck ton of money. Now, the reason that this is significant is because when I say OTK, this OTK is a network, right? For those of you that are unfamiliar with what it is, they're basically a streaming organization. They're a streaming network of a whole bunch of different streamers, right? And all of those streamers are, I don't want to say all of them, but most of them are fucking huge. A whole bunch of big streamers would significantly damage the platform. It would damage it, just straight up. And OTK, not the only person to head out and do it. Mr. Beast even coming out and saying, of course, most popular YouTuber in the world, might be number 2 now. I don't fucking know. I don't remember. And I'm not going to fact check this right now because I got to pee so fucking bad and I got to finish this story. I'm too goddamn stubborn. I did it again. Right to hell. Fuck. Anyway. Yeah, Mr. Beast, too, also coming out and saying, look, I'm going to go stream on Kick, which is the upcoming Twitch rival. I even went today on Kick to go and register for an account just in case. Reserve the name in case it might be taking off, just in case, we decide that we want to do the show live at some point in the future. Probably not going to stream to Twitch. Plus, one of the other things that I like about Kick, by the way, it looks fairly similar. I think they've got to make it work a little bit better. Apparently the video player on Kick kind of sucks, but one of the things that I enjoy about Kick is that the fucking blue-haired rainbow flag septum piercing idiots, they all think that Kick is like an alt-right, it's a far-right platform, which it's not. But if it'll keep you fucking people off the platform, maybe it'll be a less mentally ill platform, which would be it would be fucking fantastic. Hopefully it doesn't end up like Rumble, where it actually is fucking right-wing YouTube. Hopefully it does not actually become like fucking right-wing Twitch, because that would be just as cringe as, fucking rainbow flag virtue signaling Twitch. I'm just saying. Now, within the last few minutes, actually, Twitch came out with an update to this. Did not say that they were going to run it back, or did not say that they were going to dial it back. Let's see Twitch's statement. In fact, I can also put this one up on the screen. Oh, here we go. This one shows up quite nicely. Today's branded content policy update was overly broad, from Twitch tweets. This created confusion and frustration, and we apologize for that. We do not intend to limit streamers' ability to enter into direct relationships with sponsors, and we understand that this is an important part of how streamers earn revenue. We wanted to clarify our existing ads policy that was intended to prohibit third-party ad networks from selling burned-in video and display ads on Twitch, which is consistent with other services. That doesn't sound consistent with other services. I'm pretty sure that other services allow burn-in ads. But again, don't fact check me on that, or do fact check me on that, because I don't know shit about that. I do not know that about a lot of the other platforms. So I could be wrong about that. But my instinct leads me to believe that it's just Twitch lying, because that's just what they do. Back when Amazon bought Twitch, that was the end. It was over. You know how Amazon runs things? Come on. All right, back to the statement. We missed the mark with the policy language and will rewrite the guidelines to be clearer. That doesn't sound like they're taking them back. It just sounds like they're going to rewrite it to be more vague, and even though they say they're going to rewrite the guidelines to be clearer, it sounds like you're just going to put more corporate fucking PR jargon into it. Thank you for sharing your concerns, and we appreciate the feedback. We'll notify the community once we have updated the language. See, a lot of people in the comments are saying they backpedaled so fast. This doesn't even sound like a backpedal. This just sounds like they're trying to put out a fucking feel-good statement like, oh, hey, we get that people are disappointed. We might clarify the statement. So this could be the end. It sounds like the people. Here's the thing about why a lot of the Twitch boycotts didn't work before, is because none of the important people would leave. Okay, look, or maybe like one or two of them would. And that's not enough to make a dent. That is not enough to make a dent in Twitch's bottom line. Now, when people like OTK, when people like Asmongold, when people like just about the entire League of Legends community, when just about oh god, there was another one. When fucking Mr. Beast, yeah, that's right, it was Mr. Beast. When Mr. Beast comes out and says, look, I'm not even a streamer, and I'm going to go stream on Kick just because fuck you, Twitch. I'm down for that. I'm down. So, oh man, I was about to do my instinct wanted me to go, so let me know what you think. Don't forget to leave a comment like a good influencer. Fucking kill me. I'm not doing the influencer thing. I don't care. All right, so let's see. Are there any other big notes that I wanted to hit on this? We talked about Kick. We did all the other shit already. I'm kind of excited for this actually, because I fucking hate Twitch as a platform, and if it causes, Twitch was one of those. I'll equate this to how you always have terrible cable. At least if you're here in the U.S., right? Over here, how the cable companies work in the United States is that essentially cable companies are allowed to have monopolies on specific areas, which means that, let's say you want to move somewhere and you want to maybe set up an internet connection, right? You most of the time usually only have one option because that one option is the designated internet provider for that area. And that's how excuse me. That's how it worked with Twitch, right? Now, while it's not like it's different with the internet example, right? Because a lot of the times there are laws that have allowed them to do it, like fucking cable lobbyists back in the day went and changed how things were done, and so that cable companies could have monopolies on areas, and the cable companies all fucking cartel together and go, yeah, all right, we'll take this area and you take that area. That way, they don't ever have to be in direct competition with each other, so that they can offer a shit fucking service to everybody, and there's nothing you can do about it. What are you going to do? Switch cable providers? No, because they're the only one, unless you want to get fucking CenturyLink. Nobody wants to get CenturyLink. Thankfully, Starlink is an option now. I don't know how good Starlink is. But look, if I could stream and have decent upload and download, if I could have fiber speeds on Starlink, come on, Elon. I'm paying you $8 for Twitter. Can you not figure out how to get fiber speeds in Starlink? I know they're two totally different things, but you're supposed to be a genius. You're supposed to be smart. Come on, Elon. What am I paying you $8 for? Where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. So I get that there is a difference between like the internet comparison and the Twitch comparison, because there's nothing like there's no laws or anything that are specifically designating Twitch as like the place that you have to go to watch fucking video game streamers and dumbass hot tub thoughts like shaking their tits around in a pool. But at the same time, like, Twitch just has such a stranglehold on the market right now that they do really terrible things because they have such a huge market share. And it sounds like this may be the tipping point for Twitch, because it seems like I'm just basing it off of the initial reaction that I'm seeing on like social media amongst major popular streamers, right? It seems like enough people are pissed about this to where this might make a dent in Twitch's bottom line. It could actually cause people to go to YouTube or to Rumble or to Kick. Thankfully, I have registered my names on all of those devices. Not devices. Those services, just in case. So, yeah, I don't know. This is a very, very good thing. Very good thing. Now, I get that it's really bad for a lot of creators in the short term, and that sucks a lot. But, I mean, I don't see this as a bad thing. I don't see more competition as a bad thing. Oh, yeah, one more thing. There was another... by the way, if you're one of those people that streams to Twitch and YouTube, if you stream to like multiple platforms at the same time, and maybe you're one of those people that like that decided to apply for affiliate or decided to apply for partner, which is basically the program that allows you to, it starts off as affiliate and then you move up to partner eventually by signing a contract, an exclusivity contract with Twitch. If you're one of those people that gave up that agreement in order to maybe grow your brand by potentially streaming to Twitch and like maybe YouTube at the same time, then Twitch also just casually added some new rules to their terms of service, which means that now even regular fucking normies like me, I used to do this back in the day. I used to stream the old show to Twitch and YouTube and multiple platforms at the same time. And now, apparently, if you want to stream to Twitch, you cannot do that anymore, even for fucking normie plebs like us. So, a lot of controversy going on in the streaming world today. And I gotta say, I'm kind of pumped for it. Let me see, are there any other angles? Are there any other angles that I'm missing here? By the way, here's another example of the 3% screen size. Oh, shit, you can't see it here. This would be, so this area here, this would basically be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's cut off by the picture, but this is if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, then, you know, I'm just showing what an example of 3% of your screen would look like. It's not good. Anyway, I'm going to take a break. You guys are not going to notice it again because it's a fucking podcast and it's just going to seamlessly flow to the next segment for you. But, all right, we're going to talk about Succession and some of the other stuff that I've been watching. We'll do a little bit of a follow-up from episode 1 in the next segment. And I don't know, maybe if we have time, if we don't hit the 2-hour mark, then we'll catch up on Mr. 4000 a bit here. See what he's up to. See what kind of bits he's been cooking up. And if not, then we'll catch up with him next time. But all right. Back in a moment. God, where do we even start with Succession? Fortunately, it'll be a few minutes before we get to Succession. It'll be a once again, a spoiler-ridden discussion. But first, you know, there's an angle on the Twitch thing that I completely forgot about that I was thinking about during the break. Funnily enough, I was actually thinking about it in front of the toilet while in the middle of taking a piss. Isn't that just how all ideas flow to you? Right? Is, you know, the piss is leaving, but the ideas are flowing into you. It's like as one thing leaves, the other comes back. Implying that ideas are equivalent to piss. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they are, straight up. I'll admit it. Sometimes they are, but not this angle, right? The angle that I forgot about on the Twitch thing, right? Might have been because I actually had to take a piss so bad. Thank God this is a podcast. But the angle that I forgot about on the Twitch thing, right, was the impact on esports. I mentioned it a little bit, said we would get to it, but kind of forgot about it. Now, the thing about the Twitch guidelines impact on esports, right, is that I talked a little bit about it, but it's going to promote just continued cronyism in the scene. Now, the esports scene is already in a free fall on the way down, money-wise and credibility-wise. Now, as venture capitalists got swindled out of tons of money from esports teams based off of a lot of broken promises and mostly that they would get a return on their investment at some point. Nope. It sounded great. But you're all grifters. Unfortunate. But one of the impacts that this is going to have on esports is particularly that key policy on the inability to insert that term burned in ads, which are commercials that are just added to the broadcast, right? That are not complete Twitch ads. Now, the problem with this policy is that that's how just about every major esport makes their money on the broadcast. I know that's particularly how, I would say just about all of the top tournament organizers make all their money. You know, I mentioned earlier at the end of like LEC, for instance, how they would run like a Red Bull ad. They'd run their fucking Secret Labs chair ads, which are stupid as fuck. And I'm so goddamn tired of that stupid fucking electronic. Fucking just kill me. If I'd hear that one more time, I swear to God, oh wait, my sound's not on it. All right, here we go. Swear to God, if I hear that one more fucking time, I'm ending it all. wait a minute. I have something for this too. But fortunately, if there's one good fucking thing about this policy is that I won't have to see that shit anymore. The problem with it, though, is that, like, that's how all the non-major esports make all of their money, too. I'm talking about scenes like fighting games, for instance, Smash in particular. Not that there's anything special about that. I imagine that all the fighting games would kind of fall under the same category. But I'm talking about, like, any tier 2 esport that's not like one of the big 5 games, like the League of Legends, the Counter-Strike, fucking Call of Duty, Valorant. Does Overwatch even count as a game anymore? I don't think it does, but it was at one point for like a year. But all of those tier 2 esports, right, that are probably not going to get favorable treatment from Twitch, because that's just straight up how Twitch operates, right? That's why I said earlier that it was complete fucking cronyism that goes on in this industry, where what they'll do is they'll selectively enforce their rules just based on who they like. It sounds a lot like Riot. It sounds a lot like all the fucking publishers too. It sounds a lot like Blizzard. It sounds a lot like fucking Riot. It sounds a lot like every fucking major actor that has any sort of power in this scene, which is why the entire fucking industry is one giant grift that, it's just fucked. It Also, there's no coincidence that an industry that has so much fucking mental illness, so much idiocy in it, also just so happens to be like the griftiest, shadiest scene possible. That's not a coincidence, man. That is not a coincidence. When the vast majority of fucking esports fans, I don't want to make a false equivalency here, but I swear to God, there is a coincidence between the amount of fucking mentally ill 16-year-old fucking furries on Twitter. That's a huge chunk of the esports audience, right? As sad as it is. I just like the fucking video games, man. I hate everybody that likes all the video games because they're all fucking mentally ill fucking 14-year-old kids. But no coincidence that an industry that has a large amount of those people also just so happens to be a swindling, grift-mongering industry. What a surprise. And Twitch is not going to run this any differently. Now, what is more than likely going to happen here is that, as I mentioned earlier on the last segment, it's going to be some kind of a pay-to-play deal, right? Where the tournament organizers for these tier 2 games, like let's say a Smash tournament that heavily uses this type of marketing in order to even function, in order to even get the money to put on the fucking tournament, uses these like full video type commercials. And these advertisements like this is their primary source of income besides maybe a minuscule amount of tournament entry fees. That's probably not going towards their... It's probably not a big number. It's probably not a big number in the P column on their profit and loss statement, right? And that's just how it's going to be. It is just going to be complete fucking cronyism, where Twitch will take the publishers and the tournament organizers that they already have decent relationships with, that are already the big boys, in the scene, and they're just going to cater to them. Like these companies, the big ones that are out there already, they're going to be able to break these rules, right? Because Twitch selectively enforces their terms of services and their guidelines, which is why everybody fucking hates them. Twitch is just going to decide, oh, you know what? All right, sure. Riot, you guys are fine. Blizzard, you guys are fine. You guys are just mentally ill enough to be okay. Aligns very heavily with the Twitch community. Mental illness. And all of those tier 2 scenes that might decide, you know what? I don't really think we want to bow to Twitch. Twitch will either... I'm telling you right now, this is how it's going to go. They will force some of these tournament organizers of these tier 2 games to pay Twitch, right? Twitch is going to swindle more fucking money out of them. And these scenes are already struggling to make money. So I don't see a world where, some of these less popular games just straight up die unless, they work out some broadcasting deals with some of these other platforms, right? Some of these other platforms are going to have to start taking off. YouTube is going to have to work on their fucking streaming platform. Make it have any sort of discoverability at all. Make their live streaming service not shit. The only thing that's good about YouTube is the actual fucking video player itself, which generally tends to not have a lot of problems. Rumble and Kick, I don't know that much about besides some basic browsing. Seems like they could do a lot of improvements too, but they're working on it, I would assume. But that's just how it's going to be, right? You either pony up or bow the knee or bend the knee, or your tournament, your esports tournament is just not allowed to make money. So, look, this is going to kill non-major esports on Twitch, straight up. And here's the thing. This sounds very familiar, right? Where, if you're already one of the elites in the scene, Twitch is going to help you. They're going to grab your cock, right? And they're just going to shake it nice and hard. And, everybody will come together. That's just how it's going to work, right? Everybody's just going to come on each other. All the elites are just going to come right on each other. And only on each other. And that's it. And any major budding esport or anybody that is not fucking huge already, this just kills the little guy, right? I don't see any other possibility. So, yeah, that's another just another casual angle to consider here. All right, so. All right, let's talk about Succession now. Plus, I'll get to some of the other stuff that I've been watching lately. Definitely, we got to get to Succession first, right? So, what else have I been watching? Well, we'll talk about NBA playoffs a little bit. I've been watching for the first time. This is the first year, by the way, that I've been watching NBA playoffs and really kind of following it. And I think I'm turning into a basketball fan. Fuck it, I'm saving Succession for last because I already got fucking basketball in my brain. So, fuck it. We're starting with basketball. Entering into the world of sports and sporting events. They're dribbling the ball. They're throwing it into the net. Where's LeBron James and where's Steph Curry in this final? Where are they? Nope, there's a new superstar. It's Jokic, baby. That guy. Okay, so let me talk about Jokic for a second. He needs to be. Keep in mind that this is the first season of NBA Finals that I'm watching, right? So this is my first introduction to really all the storylines. I am just starting to get immersed in the basketball world, where I'm learning the history a little bit, learning a little bit about what the common opinions are that all the fucking plebs have of everybody. And here's the thing. I don't know much about this guy, but he straight up passes the eye test, man. This guy looks like a fucking beast out there on the field. You can tell with certain players, they just have this presence. They have this brooding, tyrannical presence on the field that Jokic has. And I hope that, by the way, basketball fans, that this is where you let me know. This is where you let me know how fucking either full of shit I am or just, shower me in praises, suck my cock like I'm a super elite, like I'm fucking Riot Games trying to get Twitch to allow me to run an ad in fucking LCS. Just hit me up with one of those if I'm right about the basketball take. All I'm saying though is that this guy Jokic, I don't know much about him. I'm going to do a little bit more research into him as the finals go on. Currently, where we're at right now, right? Game 2 was played last night or the night before. I don't remember. But the series is tied. Nuggets, Heat, 1-1. The Heat won a game in Denver, surprisingly enough, which the prevailing sentiment going into this series, right, was that the Nuggets were going to close it out because Jokic is the GOAT. And unless the Heat pulled out a random just GOAT performance from Jimmy Butler or, doing literally anything, seems like they might have a chance in this series, or maybe they just got lucky in that game too. I'm not sure yet. But back to Jokic, right? This guy's fucking field presence is insane. He's got that tyrannical presence, as I mentioned earlier, that he's just a fucking massive guy. I don't know if he's really 6'11" or like 7 foot or 7'1" or whatever people are trying to fucking say about him. I don't know. All I can tell is that when I look at that guy, on the field, and he's making like ridiculous shots from well behind the 3-point line, and he's making it look effortless, man. This guy is just the way that he holds on to the ball. There's just a certain feeling about it that I don't even know if I can fully describe, but you can tell, man. You can tell. You watch him play. Watch him play for like 5 minutes, and tell me this guy does not have something and should not be in the GOAT conversation, right? I was reading some take that kind of equated him to like a Shaq level player. And that, it seems kind of like an apt comparison to me, right? Because he doesn't have like the explosive athleticness of, say, Kobe or like prime Michael Jordan, right? But he's just got the pure mechanical skill to make it happen. The way he fucking powers, like barrels down midfield to make some of these baskets. Not a lot of other players that aren't just fucking huge could do that. He's just fun to watch. The whole thing's fun to watch. I was very interested. I was very intrigued by NBA playoffs this year. It also felt good to watch the Celtics lose. Like I get that I'm supposed to be rooting for the Heat, given that I'm a Florida man. I get that I'm supposed to be staying anonymous, but that's not too many details. I could say that I'm supposed to be rooting for the Heat, but I don't really care. I'm not at the point in basketball yet where I'm rooting for anybody. I just want to see some good fucking games, man. True pacifist. Waving that white flag. I'm surrendering. But no, Jokic is fucking... he's a beast. He's a straight up... Also, one of the things, by the way, the only thing that I really don't like about basketball is... I want to say the blatant flopping, but that seems like it's just a second order effect from this constant like dynamic. Whenever it seems like there's fucking like 4 or 5 guys in the midfield, like right below the net, where somebody's about to go try and make a layup, right? It seems like the game becomes whenever somebody gets the ball, shot clock is running down really low. It seems like the game is, or the primary strategy that is optimal to go for, is to just fucking power down the midfield, try and get the layup, and try and bait out a foul, which just seems like a really lame way to play the game to me. And look, I get it. Don't get me wrong. If that's how the rules are set up, then you're going to take advantage of that. I'm not going to give anybody shit for that. The only person I'll give shit to is LeBron, because he's a fucking blatant flopper. Blatant flopper. But if that's just the optimal way to play the game, unless you're like LeBron and significantly taking advantage of it, then I guess it's fine. It just sucks to watch. They're like, I just know whenever, there's like 2 defenders fucking crowding around the guy that's trying to run in and do the layup, that there's going to be a foul, and clearly the guy making the shot is also trying to bait the foul. It gets fucking... not editing that out. It gets fucking boring to a certain degree. Don't get me wrong, though. Also, another thing that I liked about playoffs this year, it seems like there haven't been too many stomp games. Obviously, except for the Heat Celtics series, which turned out to be very good, as the Celtics came back in 3. Or came back from a 0-3 deficit to take it to Game 7. Even though they got completely fucking shat on in that Game 7. But it's been fun stuff to watch so far. It's been a lot of close games. A lot of fun. And you know what? I think I might just be a basketball fan now. All right. We've got to get into Succession now, because the longer that I go avoiding it, the more it's going to exit my head. And I get that the finale aired. It aired like a week and a half ago now at this point. So we got to do something about it while I still got it fresh in my head. But anyway, by the way, again, I mentioned it earlier at the top of the segment, or at the bottom of the segment. I don't know how how are you going into the segment? Are we going into the segment from the bottom, or are we going into it from the top? I'm not even high, and I'm wondering this. Anyway, so I mentioned earlier, but this is going to be a spoilered, meaning with spoilers, talk of Succession post-finale, right? Now, just a couple of general thoughts before we go into this, right? Is that, first of all, this has been the best fucking show on TV in a very, very long time. Like, this is probably within the last 10 years. Oh, God, I'm 30, so 20. So within the last, between age 20 and 30. All right. Succession, amongst shows that I've watched, maybe my second favorite show that I've watched in the last 10 years, behind The Sopranos. I get it. I didn't watch The Sopranos when it was on TV, but I watched it like last year, and it turned into one of my favorite shows of all time. Succession, just barely below that. Succession is a fucking phenomenal show. Definitely up there in the top 5 of all time. Certainly, without a doubt, the only good show on TV currently, or it was. It was before it was over. The only, like, really, really, really good show. But anyway, all right. So I guess the best way to go about this would be to take just kind of run through each of the characters and kind of see what was going on here. Now, again, spoiler. So the entire point of the show, right, is to see how the kids, how the Chillins deal with this dynamic that, you know, they're all kind of fighting each other with the goal of earning the succession, of getting the top job, at fucking Fox News. I'm sorry, ATN. Whoops. Sorry, I didn't mean to just go to real life here. But that was the basic premise of the show, right? Now, the twist that they did towards the beginning of this last season was that the Rupert Murdoch character, as I learned that it was the Rupert Murdoch character, ends up dying. And it became kind of a free-for-all to take control, basically. Now, what I want to do is I'll kind of run through each of the characters, right? Now, first of all, I'll go through the kids, right? I'll start with Connor Roy because he's a fucking useless-ass character, and I hate him so goddamn much. In fact, I don't even view him as a real character, so I'm skipping him. He's not even important. There's 4 kids that are fighting for the succession spot, right? And Connor Roy is the one that's doing he's the equivalent, even though he's the oldest one. I'm pretty sure he looks the oldest. He is the equivalent of all the post-irony Zoomers that have decided that they refuse to take anything seriously, and it's cringe to take things seriously, bruh. He reminds me of that, where, like, he just refuses to engage with any of the business. He refuses to engage with the game that is going on in the show, which is that basically the other 3 kids fighting to, you know, take the top job, and who's going to be the one that gets it after Rupert Murdoch, or I'm sorry, Logan Roy, right? It's a character in a fictional show we're talking about here. Sure. But he basically does jack shit. He's the one, Connor Roy's the one that decides that he's above it all, and I'm not going to do anything. Instead, I'm just going to do my stupid little fucking weenie esoteric projects. Like, you know, I'm going to run for president because I'm a rich kid, and I think I can do that. I'm just going to be one of those people that accomplishes nothing. And then he fucking deludes himself so hard into thinking that it's actually a real thing. Surprisingly enough, amongst all the 4 rich kids, I feel like he's the most delusional. Even though all 4 of them are fucking delusional to a degree. As a matter of fact, that would be an interesting way to tackle the 4 kids, rank them in terms of how delusional they are. Excuse me. Again, I'm not editing that out either. All right, let me after Connor, all right, let me start with Roman, right? Because Roman was my original favorite character, and the reason that he was because he reminded me of me the most, right? Because that's how everybody identifies with their fucking favorite character in every show, is the one that's the most like them. Roman was lost, and he still is lost, even after the finale. Now, to tell you what happened in the finale, right? None of the kids end up getting it. None of the kids end up getting the job because the business gets sold to the fucking, this is where it gets kind of fictional, right? And, imagine in real life if fucking Elon Musk decided that he wanted to buy Fox News. Imagine how insane that would be. But anyway, in the show, the fictional equivalent of that deal ends up going through, right? They basically spend the entire last season trying to fight that deal so that the kids can take control of the company and run it their way, right? But unfortunately, business happens and the deal happens and treachery and betrayal. I'll get to that later once we talk about the finale. Fucking Shiv, man. Anyway, Tom ends up getting the fucking job, which is Shiv's cucked husband. That is just how real life fucking plays out, man. The most boring, vanilla, cucked corporate symbol ends up being the one that gets it in the end. None of the people that are trying to do anything. If that's not real life in a fucking nutshell, I don't know what is. There came a point in time. Actually, you know what? I'm kind of torn as to whether or not I like Tom as a character. I don't know. Anyway, so for Roman, right? Roman was the one that reminded me the most of myself. He was he's clearly a broken person that represses every bit of trauma that he experiences, and it comes out in the worst possible moments. Like, second to last episode, at the funeral of fucking Rupert Murdoch, Logan Roy. I might just keep calling him Rupert Murdoch because it's more fun to say. Logan Roy it doesn't roll off the tongue as great as Rupert Murdoch does, man. Rupert Murdoch sounds much more menacing of a name. But the funeral episode was wild because you could just feel it the whole time, right, man? This is how power is transacted. You can see there's a certain feeling of, as you follow each of the points of views of all of the characters, you could clearly see all of like the different agendas that people have, the level of fucking treachery under the guise of pomp and circumstance, where you cannot say, there's nothing free that you could say. This is how the upper echelon of the business world works, right? Where just imagine you're at one of those like hoity-toity CEO funerals and there's no real feeling there. The only real feeling ever came from like Roman and Kendall's speeches. Whether or not Kendall meant his speech, which is Kendall's speech at the funeral, by the way, was what made him the GOAT for me. I spent most of the show hating Kendall, but the funeral speech kind of changed my tune a little bit. Even though Kendall is also not a serious character who was just meant to be like, you know, the tech bro, that the rich kid tech bro that just gets all the power, and they want him to be like a jock douchebag type character. But at the same time, I did kind of want Kendall to win because he was the only one that almost seemed like he had what it takes. He was the only one that almost seemed like he was ruthless enough to do it. But at the same time, his ruthlessness also had a level of like juvenileness to it, right? Where it just, how do I even tackle this, right? Where, despite the fact that like Kendall saw some shit, like he killed a guy in the first season, and fucking Rupert Murdoch covered it up. But at the same time, you know, I almost thought that was going to be what made it happen, because that was Logan Roy, the character. That was his whole shtick, was that you have to be completely ruthless. And it seemed like he was the type of guy that like valued very heavy life experience. And it seemed like Kendall was one of the only people that had that life experience of going out there and like doing shit. Just casually going out there and killing a guy for drugs. That's not exactly how it happened, but you get what I mean if you saw it. I get the argument, by the way, that none of the characters really grew throughout the whole show and that you're supposed to hate all of them for good reason. But I'm not sure if I buy that. I get the fact that during the finale, when they were in the boardroom meeting doing the final vote for the sale, that Kendall was kind of like a petulant child. Oh, I'll get back to Roman in a minute, but I get that Kendall was kind of being a little bit of a petulant child when he was trying to convince Shiv to like make the cast the deciding vote for him. She didn't do it, by the way, which is why the deal ended up going through, and fucking Tom's the CEO. Tom won. And the final scene with Kendall sitting there just staring out into the ocean. I get it, but at the same time, I'm not entirely sure about that. I don't think that scene was enough to completely damn Kendall from the possibility of ever having experienced character growth in the series. I really do think that Kendall grew throughout the series, and I honestly do think that I didn't think this before the speech, but maybe Kendall's speech was just so moving to me. Like, it fucking resonated with me. It felt like a fucking psychedelic, like, human nature. This is life, man, kind of speech. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was great. I also get that not a lot of people enjoyed it, but it resonated with me on a certain level. How he hoped to God that he had one element of Logan Roy in him. The guy that got shit done. I do think that Kendall is the only character, is the only one of the four siblings that I think experienced any modicum of character growth at all. Now, while I agree that that doesn't make him deserving of like having won in the end, I don't know. I'm kind of undecided about that. Like, I've had a lot on my mind over the last couple of weeks. More to think about Succession, or more shit that is crowded out, really pondering and doing some deep, brooding thoughts on Succession. But, oh yeah, so back to Roman. I'm still undecided, by the way, as to whether or not I think Kendall should have won or should have got it. Also, at the same time, the ending does represent, I think, what Jesse Armstrong wanted to get across with the series, which is that, of course, the most boring in the upper echelons of the elites, the most boring vanilla milquetoast result is the one that we're going to get. And it's fucking Tom. It is fucking Tom. Cucked little Tom. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I hate Tom as a character. Literal cuck. Not editing that out either. I drank a whole can of vanilla root beer before the show, and now it's coming back to haunt me. All right, so back to Roman, I guess. So the thing that I enjoyed the most about Roman was he did have that kind of fucking smarmy, like, sarcastic personality, which reminds me a lot of me, right? And at the same time, that fucking smarmy, sarcastic personality was also hiding, like, deep pain and existential trauma underneath that. As to the idea of, like, is this just the game that we're destined to play in life? Is this it? Is this all that we've got here? Is this the business? Is there anything else out there? Like, when Roman broke down at the funeral... Okay, so I'm talking more about the funeral than I am about the actual finale, because I feel like the funeral, like, was a very, very key pivotal moment in the series. The funeral was the episode before the finale, right? And that one impacted me more than the finale, honestly. Even though the finale was good as fuck, don't get me wrong, but something about the funeral. I don't know. Tom still goes to fucking Shiv for permission about everything, even after he decided he hated her, and they just both decided they hated each other. And yet, of course, the beautiful thing at the end of the series is that, you know, Shiv, after having broken down, not being able to give Kendall her vote, even though both her and Roman earlier have decided that, you know what, all right, let's tank the deal. We both finally will give up our ego after an entire series of never being able to trust each other. The ultimate irony is that in the end, they were also not able to trust each other, and all three of them will likely go their own paths alone. Of course, with a fuck ton of money. Of course, they have to have a fuck ton of money to bring with them as they go their own separate ways in life, being unable to trust anybody, particularly the people that they should be able to trust the most, which is their siblings. But I don't know. That's how it ends. Shiv's just sitting there. Ultimately, Shiv is the one that ends up getting cucked by Tom. Now Shiv has to be that fucking subservient snake in the grass and pregnant with Tom's child. Ha ha ha. I don't have that sound effect. I was gonna pull it, but then fucking Sabrina used it on the News Junkie today. Now I'm like, ugh, no, I can't. Real Radio has taken so many sound effects that I originally started using. Not that it's anything, but like, I get it. We're all stealing sound effects from fucking Howard back in the day. I get it. So I'm not even going to complain all that much. That was my idea, though. Mine. Oh, just like fucking Ross stole.
Wow.
No. I don't care. Copium. I don't care. I mentioned it 3 times. I don't care. God damn it. So I don't know. Originally, I thought, I kind of knew in the back of my head that it could never have been Roman, because Roman doesn't have that life experience, really. He's still kind of a bitch and hasn't really grown up yet fully. Particularly his breakdown at the funeral. I get that that's probably one of the only, like, real forms of emotion that Roman has ever had. But it could never have been Roman. I don't think. The thing is, though, is that it makes you root for him sometimes. The show made you root for him sometimes. And that was the beautiful thing about the show, is it went through cycles where it made you root for all 3 of them at different times. Like, there were times where you wanted Shiv to win, there were times that you wanted Roman to win, and there were times that you wanted Kendall to win. Unfortunately, the show just ended up with making us want Kendall to win to a certain degree, even though, of course, there's that hidden backdrop element that you're supposed to hate all of them, right? Because, of course, it goes to the whole, this is commentary on society and how about they're rich people, and you're supposed to automatically hate rich people because that's what entertainment wants you to do, is just automatically hate them for their position. But it was also deep enough to still let you identify with the characters on a human level. And that was, I think, the beautiful thing that Jesse Armstrong did with it, was that, you know, you're supposed to hate them, and also at the same time you see aspects of them that you identify with in yourself. Like, for instance, that was just how I came to enjoy Roman's character, was just Roman's personality reminded of me the most. There were times that I thought it was going to be him. Like, when he first made the alliance with Jerry, even while he was sending her dick pics and jerking off behind closed doors while she fucking verbally berated him. All right, by the way, I'm a Roman enjoyer, but that level of sexual kink is that one's a little far even for me, okay? And I'm down for a lot of stuff, but I don't know about that one, Roman. I think you should drop the Jer Bear. Even though he did by fucking up. Going on a power trip. Again, the first time that you ever have any real power, I have a feeling that, you know, I would be that type of person that would have to, like, go on a power trip once, get burned by it, and then learn from it. Like, and then learn, because, again, you can never know how you would react in any situation until you're in it. Everybody probably watched that scene where Roman got a little fucking high and mighty when he finally got the position with Kendall and he was in control of stuff, and he went and fucking fired Jerry because she showed him a little disrespect, even though it was fake. But that burned the bridge with Jerry. Jerry was like his kind of business alliance partner. They were almost in very deep trust with each other at a certain point, right? And where was I going with that? Something about how fuck. I totally forgot where I was going with that. Oh, yeah. Something about how, like, you never know how you're going to react in those situations until it happens to you. I bet you a fuck ton of people were sitting there watching that going, oh, I would never do that. I would never. Roman, what are you doing? Don't you know? That's bad. Jerry is a girl boss. How dare you? But, like, you don't know. You don't know how what the fuck you would do there. You don't know what you would do if you were Roman and you just all of a sudden became the CEO of the biggest fucking company in this country. Kind of ish. In prestige, it's up there. Not the biggest, but one of the biggest. You get what I mean, right? You don't know what the fuck you would do if you just all of a sudden become the CEO of a huge omega corporation and, you know, somebody talks to you with a little bit of disrespect that you think you have power over. You think you're going to sit there and be all fucking virtuous and go, oh, I understand where you're coming from. No, you really don't think that the first time you're in that situation, you'll go, get the fuck out of my face. You're fired. Come on. That's just a human reaction. You don't know what the fuck you would do. Also, the other reason that Roman really wasn't, it could never have been Roman, is because Roman just never became his own man. He was always kind of like, he was always looking for approval, whether it be he eventually decided to, like, cuck himself to Kendall and allow Kendall to be the one to do it despite protest, even though Kendall was one of his quote unquote peers. He always had that deferment to his dad, right? Roman always had it in the back of his mind. And again, this is another reason that I kind of identify with him, is because I don't know if I've made this level of growth yet where I can completely eliminate that idea of, like, oh, hey, I've got a backup if things go wrong, right? Even though I really don't. But Roman, like, never let that leave his head. He never really became his own man yet. The show was him always being on that struggle. That's why it could never have fully been Roman. And it took getting to the finale to kind of realize that, I think. Some of the other characters that I don't give a fuck about that I'm not going to talk about is Greg. I give zero fucks about Greg. I fucking hate Greg as a character. He's just the cringe character, of course, right? Reminds me of the fucking main character from Severance, which I'm not going to watch season 2 when it comes out because I just hated season 1 so bad. The first couple of episodes were great. I'm not going to talk about Severance, just really quick sidebar. First couple of episodes were great, but I felt like I had to keep watching to see how it ended, and then the rest of the season was fucking terrible, and I also hated the main character because he reminded me of, like, fucking little weenie Michael Cera. Like, oh, I'm just a goofy, high-voiced white guy, and I just get into a load of goofy shenanigans. God, if I have to hear another one of those fucking Michael Cera type characters, God, I fucking... Also, my touchscreen stopped working. Help! Where are my sound effects? No. God, I'm gonna have to edit that out. Anyway. Anything else about the Succession finale? Like, I get it. None of the characters really learned all that much. Kendall did kind of go through some growth, but it could never have been him. None of the characters were just real serious people. And you kind of have to be that. I know they told each other that all the time. That like you're just not a serious person. But that was a common insult in the show. And I get it. And ultimately, that is why none of the three of them could have won. Is because none of them are serious people. None of them have developed into their own yet. Still living in the shadow of old daddy. Oh, yeah. Is there any other TV shows? I don't have that much time left because I kind of want to keep this at an hour and 30-ish, and we're already kind of there right now. Let's see. What else have I been watching? Oh, yeah. I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I thought it came out I thought it came out more recently than 2019. I feel like I've been seeing that fucking Leonardo DiCaprio pointing the finger with a cigarette and a beer in his hand at the screen. I feel like I've been seeing that meme for forever. But this movie came out in 2019. By the way, I fucking hated it, and it's my least favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. It fucking went nowhere. Like, I get it. I get that it was his love letter to Hollywood, but did anything really fucking happen in the movie? Like, also, Leonardo DiCaprio did such a good job at making you fucking hate that character. Because I really did. Even Brad Pitt's character I hated. I hated every fucking character. Even though Margot Robbie is fucking... She's hot in that movie, let me tell you. That's the only good reason to see the movie. I'm not going to go see Barbie, though, because I don't need a fix of her that bad. Not enough to go see fucking Barbie. And Ryan Gosling wearing pink. I don't think so. Ryan Gosling. Not on my watch. Oh, boy.
My right arm is a lot stronger than my left arm.
No, not this time. Oh, yeah. I watched the first 2 seasons of Westworld, by the way. Season 1 was so fucking good, man. And should I stop? I watched the first episode of season 3, and that's the one that I'm on now. And oh god, it was just terrible. Episode 1 of season 3 legitimately made me close the window and go, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done. When fucking Aaron Paul, is that his name? Is he the one that played Jesse Pinkman in... Pretty sure that's Aaron Paul. Yeah, Aaron Paul. As soon as fucking Aaron Paul shows up, his new character in fucking Westworld season 3, it didn't feel real. It almost felt like a fucking psyop, that show. The way that they just had Aaron Paul going around doing fucking Aaron Paul things, going, I'm so deep and brooding. I just can't believe it. Man, the system, bruh. The system just sucks, man. And it seems like that's all the fucking show is going to turn into, is just commentary about it. The system is broken. There was nothing smart about it. Like in the fucking first season. First season was great. First season was a fantastic season of television. Season 2 was like, all right. Okay, sure. That was the natural progression of where things were going to go. I'm not going to spoil Westworld, by the way. I know I spoiled Succession, but you're safe to listen to this if you have not watched Westworld and you intend on watching it. The only thing I spoiled is that, like, Aaron Paul is a character in season 3, I guess. He plays a character. But I'm dropping Westworld. I don't give a fuck, man. I hate Aaron Paul's character so much. It just seems so fucking generic, downtrodden, down on your luck guy that all of a sudden then the story interacts with, and then what happens? I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care, man. I give no shits. I also don't care about what the fuck is the blonde female robot's name? Oh, God, it's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, I just watched the show, too. I just watched, like, fucking... How many episodes are in a season? 8, 10? Either 16 or 20 episodes of this show. I don't remember the main fucking robot character's name. Whatever. I don't know. Like, seeing the development of that character too is like, I don't care. And then fucking Simp Teddy. I remember his name, but not her name. Terrible. Terrible. Season 1 was so fucking good, too. It was so damn good. I should have known after Season 2. There were parts of Season 2 that made no fucking sense either. And I just kept going. Like, all right, maybe it'll make sense eventually. All right, so I'm dropping Westworld. Fuck Westworld. I don't have the time to be watching this shit anyway. Anyway, that's pretty much what I've been watching. Is there anything else I've been watching lately that I took notes on so I could remember? No. Anyway, that's it. All right. So, back to, now that we're at the end of the episode
Housekeeping.
here. A little bit of that.
Housekeeping.
So, I'll be back to doing some more of these. I took a couple of weeks off to live life a little bit. It wasn't all living life. A lot of it was struggling through some stuff. There was 1 week that I became like a complete vegetable, but the other weeks I was working on stuff. Next time, by the way, I will share the story of a major life change that happened. I've basically rethought my entire approach towards religion, which is that I think I've adopted a little bit of a different mindset towards it. And the catalyst was a very interesting experience that I went through over the weekend. So I'll talk about that next time. I don't want to go too long today. Plus, I kind of want some more time to really think about it. I was originally going to record this episode and talk about it like right after I got home over the weekend when it happened. But I recorded like 3 fucking takes and I stopped like 5 minutes in and thought, all right, I need to let this sit a little bit. Hence the current recording now. Avoiding it. I still need some more time to let it sink. So I'll talk about that next time. And also we will get a nice return from Mr. 4000 himself. We'll see what kind of good bits he's been cooking up. And then of course, for later on in the week, I've got some bigger plans. They could be spicy. They could be controversial. I hope you're ready to maybe get mad. What? All right, I just autopiloted that fake outrage so hard that I feel like it is time to end the episode. Anyway, love you all. You can follow at Lighthouse Shock Jock on YouTube. On Twitter, it is Lighthouse_SJ. More stuff coming up in the future as I try to say I and we at the same time as I kind of build out some more stuff. We're still kind of at a bare bones operation, but as I have some more fun, as I get more used to doing this, we'll do some more fun stuff. Bye. Love you all.
Hey, how are you? Good. Why don't you have a seat right over there?